Welcome to The Prize Inside. The Prize Inside. A chiropractor's journey in everyday holistic health and vitality. Here, your host, Dr. Jeremy Myers, delves into the remarkable journeys of everyday people who have embraced the path to health and healing. Through his practice, Dr. Jeremy encounters inspiring stories of profound transformation and the power of true healing within each of us. Stay tuned as we discuss various holistic topics and unlock the healing potential that lies within us all.
All right. Good evening, everybody. Let me try to fix my screen here. There we go. Awesome. How are you guys tonight? Hopefully you're having a good time. Nice little Wednesday. And welcome to Whole Health Weekly. What tonight we talk about a lot of different various topics that are out there that are on the internet as we look. Some interesting ones popped up. So this will be a very good talk tonight on just different processes out there. Oh, speaking of that, that's the other place I get my access from. I'm going to have to put out a panic call. Let's see, to my TikTok superstar, my office manager, Gina. I just put that out there. I usually text her right on Wednesday to get the information to see what's on TikTok. Because a lot of times the smaller videos are what is grabbing people's attention. So remember, in our brains, a lot of times the information that we're actually carrying are either they're finding like long form where you're having a conversation, or they're these small little video clips. And sometimes these video clips are very misleading on what's occurring there, right? So it's a good way to advertise. They're trying different ways, right? So just remember just always be mindful of that, especially when you're seeing new information come across all the time. A lot of stuff we get is fake. Let's just call it that, or maybe it's like half truths, and we're really good in healthcare about half truths, right? So one of the things about our sick care model that I can absolutely say with the, no things is like that you'll have, let's say, a new pill that comes out, and that new pill, might improve something, but it causes 5 other situations to happen to somebody. Well, we kind of half truth that, as we go. One of my doctors years ago said, this is the most interesting way, as I'm hoping they get off the TV at some point, but with commercials that are pharmaceutical or drug commercials. At one point, when you see one come on, close your eyes and try to watch that, like just listening to the ad. Don't look at the visuals with your eyes, right? Because they're going to teach you that they're going to have a beautiful background with beautiful people and everybody's smiling and it's a really happy situation, while they're telling you the 7 to 10 side effects that could be potentially happening. It's a way to not allow us to be, as informed as we normally do. Because one of the ones that is a super addictive pain drug that was years ago that they've lost many ways is this one called Oxycontin. Oxycontin was a drug that we really knew that it was addictive, and it was in their paperwork that it was addictive, but the way they did it was so misleading because you never talk about this addiction situation. So these are things to watch, and that's what Whole Health Weekly is all about, is to kind of go through some of those trends and see if there's anything to it, and then give you some new stuff, some new holistic stuff that may be of help to you. And I know on Wednesdays, I get a lot out of this as well. So, like where you might find something new or a new herb that we've known about for a long time, and maybe it has a new benefit, or, those kind of things. We've had that a few times. So before I begin, I want to make sure that I get you to look at following. If you like the show and you want a place to go where all the shows are, and you can watch them again at other times. Rumble is one of my favorites, so I'll put that in there. Good evening, Julie. I almost forgot to say good evening. Thanks for being on again, like usual. You rock. So so this is our Rumble channel. So we have the Rumble channel. It's great to go back and like kind of listen to different ones that you like. Here is our YouTube channel. This one, it's called Jeremy and Rach on YouTube. Nothing major there. I need to change the name of that, but like to something a little better. And then and if you're into podcasting, if you like to listen to it, we always put it right on after here. It's on Spotify, iTunes, all those kind of situations. It gets downloaded to a lot of different iTunes. So if you want to listen to it there, that would be fantastic as well. And then the last one, if you want emails, this one it's not a big email list. All I do is send things out that are kind of relevant to here. Substack is fantastic because it allows me to send you guys an email when we, get live. So those are all the different places you can do this from. So welcome to that. Now let's talk. So this is episode 36. So what I always like to start with is a chiropractic quote that you may or may never have heard of. And these are back in the 1920s, 1930s, those kind of things. So I always enjoy doing that. And I want to make sure it kind of keeps you alive with, the chiropractic philosophy 100 years ago. The holistic philosophies even outdates chiropractic, right? There's Chinese medicine, Ayurvedic medicine, so many different ones. And what we really need to do is understand that it's been around a really long time. We just have to understand that, nature is going to be one of those that takes a little time, a little more understanding, but it's there. Okay. So, anyway, here is the quote. This one I'm going to go with. Oh, yes, I love this one. This one's from B.J. Palmer. So B.J. Palmer was the son of the guy that discovered it. His name was D.D. Palmer. B.J. Palmer is the one that took chiropractic to the next level as far as exploding it as a true profession. And so he was the one that was very instrumental. D.D. Palmer, of course, was super instrumental. But B.J. Palmer, we give a lot of credit to the growth of chiropractic, really. But here is a quote from him in the 1930s. The master maker of the human body did not create you and then run off and leave you masterless. So what he's talking about there is the master maker of the human body gave you a inborn innate intelligence within each and every one of your cells. Each and every one of those cells have its own intelligence within it. And that innate intelligence is the thing that allows us to communicate or cooperate with the natural forces of the earth. The natural forces of the earth are our coordination or our universal intelligence. So there's a universal intelligence of our world that we have to interact with the cells of our body. The innate intelligence within us is that answer that God gave us to be able to do that. So with that said, that was a good quote. I'm going to leave it there and let's talk. Let's start talking. Oh, before I start, right now, especially if you're in Michigan or these kind of the weather patterns are going to start breaking. So what do we need to do? We need to start thinking ahead for the cold and flu season. So what do we want to do? Vitamin D, do ZACEs. Remember, zinc, vitamin A, vitamin C, vitamin E, selenium, vitamin D, and quercetin. That's a lot. You can do a few of those if you want. You can do D, C, and zinc if you really want to get into it. Vitamin D, C, and zinc. But you want to make sure all those are up to their levels. So this would be a good time actually to get a vitamin D test if you're going into the doctor. Say, hey, how's my vitamin D level? Because that is your alarm system to your house, your immune system regulation. Casey, he made it on. I forgot to mention him. That's why he's getting on tonight. I know it is. No, I'm just kidding. We were just talking the other day. So yeah, remember vitamin D, C, zinc, minimum. Okay. Right now is the time. If you go, man, I don't know why I get this flu all the time. And I'll write them down in the chat so you guys have them. So vitamin D, vitamin C, zinc. Let's see, quercetin. You guys know what quercetin is? Quercetin is one you probably haven't heard of, but quercetin allows the zinc to get into the cells. So that's one reason why I do that. So these are the basics. Vitamin A is a really good one. Vitamin E is good to have at this time. And then selenium. Okay. And these are all things, they're not expensive. They're nothing major. There's some good ones out there that, you could do. I've seen Emergency. I mean, that's not a terrible one. And so a lot of times this is the time, though. Don't wait until the sun goes away and it starts getting winter and we eat all the fake sugar and we were like, oh, man, I wish I would have done something. I feel like crap. This is the time. Okay. So like right now in Michigan, it was crazy. It was like, the last few days, it's nothing major, but it was 50 degrees in the morning and 80 at the end of the day. That's a 30-degree swing. Okay. So if you're home, if your entire body is going through that kind of change, we want to make sure we're at our best at that time. Okay. So just remember that. So less sugar, those kind of things. Okay. All right, sweet. And I am eating better now, eating much cleaner, which, because the summer sun, I do it just in principle because then, you're actually feeling good throughout that time. So get rid of the fake sugars at this time of year. Let your immune system do its work and make sure you don't get those immune system problems, the dis-ease. Okay, so let's start with the trends of the week. Let's see what's on social media trends. This is a mainstream media health news. Okay. Obstructive sleep apnea and social apnea. Interesting. A study reported by Healthline noted that obstructive sleep apnea symptoms may worsen on weekends due to irregular sleep patterns. The phenomenon is dubbed social apnea. This has been linked to late night socializing or disrupted routines, with 18% increase in severity compared to weekdays. Sleep experts recommend consistent sleep schedules to mitigate this. This is an interesting topic because I have my own philosophy on this because of my own experience. Okay. So, as nasally and crappy as my voice actually is, I'm not going to win any. Like this one guy said, my voice is made for TV and my face is made for radio. It's perfect. So, but one of the things is you would think that a slightly chubby guy with a nasally voice would have sleep apnea. I do not. It's wild. I sleep through the whole night, almost every single time. However, there is one exception to that. If I drink beer. If I drink beer, some kind of alcohol, I begin to snore. What is sleep apnea? The snoring so much that it interrupts your pathway, right? So then it wakes you up. So you never actually get to a good sound sleep. And sleep apnea is a major problem, not just a little problem, a major problem in society. I bet you, oh man, I want to say 70% of the people I ever talk to get diagnosed with sleep apnea. It's pretty wild. And right now, one of the things about sleep apnea that's interesting, the treatment for it is this thing called the CPAP machine. The CPAP machine is basically breathing in essentially oxygen or forced air in. One of the things that's fascinating about the sleep apnea, the CPAP machine, is it works really, really well. And I have no issues with the machine in general. The problem, though, is that it's not actually fixing or going after the cause of the problem. Now, I have been on a mission to try to figure out what that cause of the problem actually is. Because right now, there is no actual rhyme or reason why sleep apnea occurs. You can be a skinny person. You can be an overweight person. You can be all of these things. It does not matter in any aspect. You can have all these different things. And you can be the most in shape guy on the world, have sleep apnea. You can be the most overweight person in the world, have sleep apnea. It does not matter. And so why is that occurring? There's some theories that it has to do with the balance of the muscles of our jaw and our upper neck. Okay. So like our upper neck and how our head gets positioned, because we have a lot of what they call the forward head posture. A lot of the muscles in the front may, get collapsed in there or, those kind of things. So there's a lot out there, but what I would suggest is this social apnea is that alcohol is doing something. Now, my contention is alcohol is it causes a brain situation. It changes your brain. And maybe that's one reason like the sleep apnea would go, be worse, because every time there's not been a time, even with one beer, there hasn't been a time that I haven't had it where I started snoring and I didn't get as good a sleep for sure the next day. Okay. So if you don't get the good sleep, excuse me, guys, so that good sleep, you notice that pretty well, right? And so maybe this weekend sleep apnea is based on our new drinking habits on the weekend, right? Because some people they just drink on the weekend, or just oversleeping, or those kind of things. So one of the things that I've heard, if you guys ever want to try it, I haven't experimented with it yet, but it's one thing I heard from an herbalist when I was taking this seminar. He's a professor over on the West Coast, and he did this thing that was pretty fantastic. I've thought about it. If anyone wants to experiment with it, it's kind of a tough one to do. He calls it a sleep detox. The sleep detox is this. You block off time in your day, block off like a couple days. Okay. So just completely nothing going on in those 2 days, possibly. But you stay in your bed, you fall asleep, but then you don't get out of bed. And every time you want to fall asleep again, you fall asleep, but you don't get out of bed. Now, the reason he's doing that, he calls it basically a sleep detox, because there's a old wives' tale that you can never catch up on sleep. And that could be wrong, actually. Maybe it is something we have to catch up on our sleep. One of the things that I think the reason I don't have sleep apnea as much is because I actually take a nap every lunch. 20-minute nap every single lunch. And a lot of people are like, what? Are you serious? I go, yeah. So that is something I've gotten the habit of. I love it. 20 minutes is plenty for me. But I think that's part of it. Because like as you go, I like awaken a little better in the afternoon. So, and these are just theories I'm throwing out there. So, but understand I'm still on this mission. I'm on a mission for figuring out sleep apnea. The other one I'm kind of experimenting with is hops. Hops is a very good sleep additive. It helps you sleep. It relaxes you. Without the alcohol, hops is a fantastic muscle relaxer. So one of the theories is if you can do a tincture or an herbal tincture of hops, a lot of times you will get the muscle relaxing effect and possibly balance out those muscles and maybe change sleep apnea up. Now, I haven't done the experiment on it, and a patient hasn't done that yet. We've talked about it, but I think it's one of those that more time will tell. But that is an interesting one. That's why I bring it up. So I apologize if that was a little long-winded. Okay. So here's the other one. GLP-1 is in the top. GLP-1 medications and health impacts. GLP-1 medications like Ozempic, orforglipron, Eli Lilly's oral weight loss pill, so that's a GLP-1 thing, are making headlines. Clinical trials showed that this new weight loss pill led to an average of 12.4% weight loss over 72 weeks. Additionally, these drugs show promise for treating rheumatoid arthritis or inflammatory conditions, though they may be linked to eye conditions, potentially causing vision loss, like we talked about in the beginning. You might lose 10 pounds, but you'll be blind. So that's fine. Experts emphasize hydration for users, especially in high temperatures. Okay. So most of you understand where I stand in the GLP-1 situation. It's not a dig on the drug, but let's understand the drug. The drug is mimicking a hormone. The hormone your body's already creating. If your body is already creating this hormone and you start to replace it with a drug, then your body will stop, through its innate intelligence, stop creating that hormone. Now you are essentially attached to having to take this drug for a really long time, i.e. melatonin. Melatonin, same concept, right? And we've been through this in a few different videos, but just understand this is going to be one it's very cost. They're selling a lot of it. And it's a lot in the trending in the news. I won't belabor it. We've been through it in a few different whole health weeklies, but just be cautious. Anything that you're replacing what your body already makes is something you should just understand before you keep going. Okay. So with that said, I will leave that one alone for tonight. This one. Here's an interesting one. Colorectal cancer in younger adults. Actor James Vanderbeek's diagnosis of stage 3 colon cancer, I didn't know that, at age 46, has drawn attention to rising cases in younger people. Symptoms like persistent abdominal pain, blood in the stool, bowel changes are highlighted in critical warning signs. So this I can attest to a lot of times because, and I'm going to push it hard, the gut microbiome, which is your gut bacteria, is probably the most important thing you could possibly, make sure you're taking care of. Okay. So it's another part of our health and holistic healing that we must start looking at. Okay. I have several patients on what we do at the office is gut microbiome switch to get back to what nature intended. The gut bacteria that live in your stomach, you need them. You're what they call symbiotic with them. The idea is you have good gut bacteria and you have bad bacteria. So the bad bacteria is the stuff that makes you sick. Okay. So, and they can kind of get in there. The good bacteria are there to help you digest the foods that we eat. And so this good bacteria that's sitting in your gut has to be present to help break down the foods that we have, allowing us to get the vitamins and the energy and the minerals out of that food. Once your gut bacteria is not on the straight and narrow, we begin to have major gut problems. And the way those happen, and this is, like with our crappy ultra processed food diets, with major, drugs that we take, taking too many, let's say antibiotics could be another one, which is a lot of times it's linked to a big one because anti means anti. Biotics is life. So it's anti-life. So it's a drug that goes down and kills bacteria. In a bad bacteria situation, fantastic idea. But when it doesn't matter what bacteria it's killing off, that's when it can have a problem. So that's why an antibiotic causes issues because it kills the good and the bad. Because the trade-off, let's say you have a bad bacterial thing, the trade-off to the sick care health system is saying we got to take that trade-off because we want to help you, right? Our goal is not to badmouth necessarily antibiotics, but understand what to do after, let's say you had to have a run of it. So now we're going to do probiotics. We're going to do eating well, fermented foods. We're going to eat clean, do not as much processed stuff, right? So those are big things. And you're going to keep seeing more and more gut bacteria problems in the form of different conditions. They'll come up with new conditions. I guarantee it. I've seen it for 25 years. IBS wasn't even a thing 25 years ago. Okay. Colorectal cancer, there's all the same mechanisms. If you have a great gut bacteria, a great gut microbiome, then you can really change the game in your health in general. 85% of your immune system is sitting in your gut. It's got its own nervous system, guys. There's a reason these things happen. Your gut brain is connected. Phenomenal situation there. So remember that. If you're ever interested, we have a gut microbiome program that we do at the office to kind of get people back to it. Is it hard? Yes. It's definitely difficult. Is it a process? Yes. It's definitely Brian said, yes. This is a true story. Brian says, turmeric and ginger saved my gut. He is correct. Turmeric and ginger are phenomenal for gut health. What happens with turmeric and ginger is it's a super anti-inflammatory. But what happens is it's not digestible. It's not like a really good digestible herb. So what happens is like when you eat turmeric, if you take a lot of it, you have to ingest what a lot of turmeric and ginger in the beginning, because what happens is once you build up the turmeric like in your gut, your body uses it as it goes. It's kind of like oil in your car. You only have to fill it up. Yeah, you fill up an oil tank, right? And the car uses it as it goes, and you might have to top it off with like a quart or two. Turmeric and ginger work very similar to that, but it also keeps at bay all the inflammation processes that can happen in the gut. So turmeric and ginger are phenomenal overall, body, joints, everything. Okay. And that's pretty cool. So one reason, and I'm going to go back a little bit on the GLP-1 situation. So one reason the GLP-1 is working and saying that it's helping rheumatoid arthritis, stay with me on this. The GLP-1 is telling your body you're full when there's no food in there. So it's telling your brain that there's no food, or you are full. There's plenty of food. You don't need to eat. So GLP-1 is tricking your brain basically and saying, hey, I'm not hungry, and therefore you don't eat. When you don't eat and you have less calories, you're not eating the crap, the ultra processed, the fake sugars, all those things. If you're not eating all those fake sugars, ultra processed stuff, all that, then your immune system is able to stay calm and collected, right? Because there's no gut. It's like going on a water fast. A water fast, let's say you did 3 days with nothing but water, okay? No food at all. Your immune system will be at its top of its game because it doesn't have anything to battle. Because most of the time, our immune system is battling the stuff we actually ingest into our body. Okay. A lot of times you get some environment stuff, but the most of the time, our immune system is actually attacked. Our immune system has to worry about what we're eating because our stuff has so many of these chemicals in it. So a lot of times, just remember that. That's one reason they can tout that it's really good for rheumatoid arthritis. Well, no crap. There's no food in there. So your immune system is not causing inflammatory response all over the place. If that makes sense. Hopefully that makes sense. It makes sense to me, but and then Brian also adds, and sauerkraut, my favorite. I'm glad he said that because Rachel made her first 2 batches of lemon dill sauerkraut. And remember, if you want to learn kraut recipes, they don't pay me. I should get them on here at some point. This website is phenomenal. They're called the Fermentation School. It's a husband and wife, and they're little classes you can buy like $20, and you can learn how to do a kraut recipe or kimchi or, those kind of things. My next one is going to be kombucha. I cannot wait for that. I saw, by the way, guys, kombucha has a nice flavor to it. If you're having trouble with the, getting away from pop, let's say, because that's a lot. It's very addictive, very terrible for you. Pop, though, kombucha has there's some stuff in the store you can buy and try it. It's pretty good. It's got a nice little flavor to it. Casey could tell you if he's still in the chat. You're talking to a guy that's not lived holistic his whole life. Understand that. This is a guy, if my parents brought home a 12-pack of Sprite, I think that would be gone in the day. That's how much we would love all that stuff. Pop, any kind of sugary thing. I just noticed, like, when I started understanding how this stuff worked, that it was better if I didn't do that. And I felt so much better. Didn't get the sicknesses, all those kind of things. So it was always very cool, as we go to, get that kind of thing rolling. So just to let you know that. All right. So let's go on to our next one. All right. Let's see if there's any. Ooh, I like this one. Vitamin D. So vitamin D in aging. Now, remember, vitamin D, the biggest thing is to understand, I want you to get vitamin D from the sun, obviously. There's some places, though, that you're going to have to naturally get it. Okay. So naturally get it. But then when you're in live in like Michigan, where it gets dark and there's lack of sun, you're going to have to do some supplementation to it. But here's a thing that's on there: vitamin D and aging. Harvard researchers found that daily vitamin D supplementation reduced telomere shortening by over half in a 4-year trial, potentially slowing aging processes, particularly in the cardiovascular system. So this is pretty cool. The telomeres are a part of your DNA that we don't have to go in the whole time, but it is what they're kind of noticing. If the telomere shortens quickly, then you're aging. It's kind of a good gauge of aging process. So let's leave it at that. But this telomere is very important to look at as far as like how you're doing in the aging process. If vitamin D can extend our which makes sense because oh, I'm sorry. Gina just said, okay. Oh, yeah, we were going to do the new. I forgot about that. So we already covered the one for the TikTok, the new flus that are coming. Okay. So all the new crappy flus, the newest COVID strain, all that stuff. If your immune system's good, you don't have to worry about any of it. So just remember that. You'll be strong. It'll be fantastic. Just make sure that you're prepared for that season. Anyway, but what were we talking about? Oh, yeah, vitamin D. So vitamin D, as it gets in, if you stay at a good level of vitamin D, remember that is think of it as your alarm system to your home. If your alarm system to your home is set, when you leave that house and you push the alarm button and you leave, if vitamin D is good, when the robber touches the door or wiggles a handle or whatever, that alarm system goes off and the police come. Okay. That's a normal vitamin D level. The problem with a low vitamin D level is you set the alarm system, you leave, the robber breaks through the door, gets the money, takes off out the door, is down the road, then the alarm system goes off. That's a problem for your body. If the flu virus is the bad guy and it's able to get into your system deep, right? Into your system deep where the alarm system hasn't gone off yet, then we have problems. That's why vitamin D is so essential to like how we live in general. Okay. So many things like for bone health and everything else. I'm so excited though. My medical world is starting to, for osteoporosis. It's been years of this. So osteoporosis, every time it was calcium, they would just give this high dose calcium to people that had osteoporosis, which is like thinning of the bone, those kind of things. And I'd kind of roll my eyes because it's not it's hard to negotiate with a patient like that says, oh, calcium. I started taking more calcium, should be good. Then the all honest truth is that to change osteoporosis, you need to increase your muscle mass through actually like weightlifting type exercises. That will help 8 times more than a calcium supplement. The other thing that helps is vitamin D, K2, and magnesium, making sure that all those levels are good. And if all those levels are good, then your calcium will get absorbed into that bone, which will make it more. We didn't know holistically, we didn't really know all of those had to be in coordination. Technically, maybe there were some that did, but vitamin D, D3, K2, and magnesium together will make your calcium absorption exactly where it needs to be. Okay. So hopefully that makes sense. All right. Let me see. Okay. I don't know what that is. So a couple other TikTok things. I really like this. I'm surprised it's trending right now, but weighted vests for fitness. Okay, so social media influencers are popularizing weighted vests for workouts, touting the benefits of improved bone health and weight loss. Experts advise caution due to potential strain if used improperly. Weighted vests are fantastic. Really, really good idea. Unbelievably good idea. Why? Two things. One, if you're like let's say you create a 10 pound, and you can do this with a backpack as well. You don't need a weighted vest necessarily, but what you're doing is adding more weight on there. It increases muscle mass, helps you move a little bit better, right? Get a little more cardio out of the deal, and maybe it's like a walk. You're not going to hurt your joints as much, but you can do yourself a lot of good. So weighted vests, that's a great trend. Some people wear the 50 pounders, right? So there's a vest. I have one that's you put a bunch of little weights in it. It looks like a bulletproof vest, but you can actually add these little weights that are like 2 pounds a piece. I think mine goes up to like 40 pounds. Once you start wearing that thing, you ain't going as far, definitely, as you think you are. But it's really good for muscle strength and all those kind of things. So remember weighted vests. Those are important, especially if you walk for a living. It wouldn't hurt to do some kind of activity. Maybe you don't feel like weightlifting all the time. Then get this weighted vest, put it on, take a nice little half a mile walk with a weighted vest. You'll be happy you did. Okay. Let's look at one more, and then we'll go into the cool stuff, the holistic news. All right, let's go on. There's not much going on other than that. Unless you guys have something in the chat, let me know. But all right. Oh, yeah. Okay, so let's go into my favorite author, Dr. Mercola. Remember, if you look up Dr. Mercola's website, fantastic place to get like new emails. He sends out he has so many good articles many times. And so a lot of times I'll look for his articles to make the mainstream because he knows exactly holistic what we're kind of looking for. Okay. So this one's kind of interesting. So this one is by Dr. Mercola. Eating more pulses, and we'll get into that, and vegetables lowers stress by boosting beneficial gut bacteria. A poor quality diet is linked to higher stress levels and fewer beneficial gut bacteria, making it harder for your body to stay calm and resilient. Eating more vegetables, beans, and specific foods like natto, tomatoes, and green peppers can boost your gut bacteria that produce anti-inflammatory compounds and improve mood, but only when your gut lining and metabolism are already functioning well. We're going to go into that. That's a really good point. Beans feed beneficial microbes that strengthen your gut lining, lower inflammation, and help regulate appetite and hunger hormones. Though in sensitive individuals, they increase bloating, cause endotoxins, and stress hormones unless carefully prepared and well tolerated. Okay, so let's go through that portion. All right, Julie, what size should you start with? I can't remember what we just... weighted vest. I would say 10 pounds. 10 pounds would be my beginning weight. And a lot of times I would say backpack. If you find a little 10-pound weight in your house, start there. You will notice a massive change in that weighted vest. You can get up to like 30, 40 pounds, but you're going to notice, especially just walking, it's like wild. But the weighted vests are really cool because you can kind of move a little better, as you go. So I bought one because you can weight lift in it. You can do things. I try to do pull-ups with it, even though me doing pull-ups is something fun anyway. But yeah, so I would start with 10 pounds. I think that would be a good question. That's a good question though. So what they're saying let's go back to this article. So beans can be really good for a beneficial microbe or your gut bacteria. The problem is if your gut bacteria is already messed up, it can actually reverse. Now we're seeing that trend with a lot of different things. I see it constantly. So I'll tell you why. So somebody's gut is really messed up. They have bad gut bacteria, candida, let's say. If you've ever heard of it, it's candida infection comes in, it takes over your gut microbiome, and you can't hardly eat anything. They start to try to eat better. They're told do bananas, rice, the brat diet. I think it's bananas, rice, and toast or something like that. So that, they start doing this bananas, the rice and the toast. The problem is if the gut bacteria is so messed up that now the bad bacteria has taken over, whatever you do may not work. So what they're saying is this happens in beans is one really good one. And the last article we did was fish oil. Fish oil actually can work against you if your gut bacteria is so bad that you can't do that. And it makes a ton of sense. Like, I wish I could tell you how I understand this. When my gut bacteria was messed up and I finally figured out how to retrain and do it, you could eat a normal process and not feel good. Okay. Once you understand and get your gut microbiome corrected, you feel so different. And when you eat foods that agree with your good gut bacteria, you actually feel the energy. It's wild. You feel good after you eat. It's not this bloated. It's not these things. And all of that comes back to having a good microbiome. Okay. So what they're saying is beans can be a super beneficial thing if your gut microbiome is really good. And veggies. That's why when we start doing the gut microbiome program at our office, they're shocked that I won't let them do vegetables. They're like, why? I go, I promise you will find out. We don't go into this part, but one of the reasons is because some of these phytochemicals from the vegetables, if that gut bacteria is off, can actually mess with you and cause you more problems than good. Isn't that wild? That's why you need this perfect balance in your body. And it's so important to look at all these things. So I thought that's a very good thing. Okay. So I think that's enough. So that wasn't that great an article. It just tells you kind of the normal stuff me and you go over all the time. Yeah. So sorry about that. I thought it was going to be, but we got a little bit out of that. We got a little bit out of that with understanding the gut microbiome out of that. Oh, this one is super interesting because if you remember, there's this thing called curcumin, piperine. People know these. Piperine is the black pepper that allows turmeric to be even more powerful. Okay, so this article is on this. This is by Dr. Joseph Mercola once again. Black pepper, the king of spices, and its surprising superpowers. Piperine, which is what's in it, is the active compound in black pepper. It stimulates the trigeminal nerve system, creating a unique tingling and warming sensation beyond taste and smell. Adding freshly ground black pepper at the table activates multiple senses and increases meal satisfaction by giving you more control over the flavor. Whole peppercorns preserve their flavor and aroma far longer than pre-ground pepper, making fresh grinding the most effective way to unlock its health and sensory benefits. Black, white, and green peppercorns offer a distinct flavor profiles that can be rotated to keep meals interesting and support broader range of sensory stimulation. Research shows that when you season your food yourself, your brain perceives the meal as way more enjoyable and rewarding, supporting healthier eating habits over time. Let's see. Okay, so it always, black pepper always sharpens flavor, but it also supports better digestion and helps your system absorb more food, more from the food that you're already eating. But what really sets it apart is how your brain responds when you're the one adding it, giving you more control, more satisfaction, and a better shot at enjoying healthy meals long term. Let's look at when modern research is uncovered and why the spice deserves a lot more attention. And then they got a video. I'm going to add to this. So piperine. Let's talk about that a little bit. Piperine is the thing. So what happens in turmeric? You have this huge anti-inflammatory process that can happen. With piperine, the coolest part is it actually adds to the ability of the turmeric to really take off and be a super anti-inflammatory as well. What this article is stating, though, is we have to remember that the digestive process is from your nose and your mouth all the way to your gut. So we have to understand that even the sense of smell and the sense of taste are super important to remember. Okay. So remember in like COVID when, people would lose their smell and their taste. Think about that, what that does to your gut. Okay. Some of these people were losing weight because they didn't want to eat anything. That it was crazy. It was like the amount of people that were losing their smell and taste. Everything tastes there. Nothing tastes well because if you don't have your smell and your taste, that's going to be causing a problem. One of the reasons why cooking your own food is such a glorious thing. You're like in that scent too. It's not just about the cooking. It's about really immersing yourself in the whole process because your salivary glands have to get going, your nose, your eyes, your mind. And they're saying pepper is a really good thing to add that kind of kicks up the flavor of maybe a Wednesday night dinner when you're not paying attention, right? Throw a little spice on there and it allows that gut bacteria to kind of take off and go the right direction. All right. I like that article. That was good. But just remember that super ability. When you're looking for a turmeric supplement or a ginger supplement, make sure it says piperine in it and you'll get even more benefit out of it. Oh, okay. So this will be our last one tonight because I can see I talked a lot. So here we go. Here's the Dr. Mercola one again. New study reveals a fresh anti-aging role for vitamin C in your skin. Interesting. A new research shows that vitamin C does more than just brighten your skin. It also reawakens hidden renewal pathways that help keep your skin firm, smooth, and youthful. A study conducted by Tokyo Metropolitan Institute for Geriatrics and Gerontology shows vitamin C activates gene pathways that restore skin thickness and cell renewal. This helps reverse age-related thinning and loss of resilience. Researchers confirmed that vitamin C works through certain enzymes to demethylate DNA, a process that removes chemical tags blocking blocking gene activity that boosts skin regeneration and structure. Vitamin C anti-aging benefits extend beyond the skin, supporting collagen synthesis, antioxidant defense, immune modulation, and cardiovascular health, and cognitive performance. Whole foods provide natural bioavailable vitamin C. The best sources include citrus, kiwi fruit, berries, broccoli, kale, and bell peppers. Combining these with healthy lifestyle habits like safe sun exposure, restorative sleep, and minimizing toxin exposure supports stronger and more resilient skin as you age. Now, when I see that, I'm wondering, because we all know our skin is one of the most easily absorbed, it's the organ that absorbs the most stuff. I'm wondering in this article if they actually have like a cream. Let's see if there's one out there. It'd be pretty cool if they did, actually. So we know how to eat correctly for vitamin C. Okay. Maybe there's not a cream yet. Oh, well, it doesn't say there's a cream yet, but maybe I'll start looking for that. We'll start looking for a cream that we could actually get on people's skin. Add a little vitamin C to that bad boy. Because vitamin C is great, and we all know it. There's so much to it. You're sick, eat a bunch of like those little baby oranges. You'll have enough quercetin and vitamin C in you. You'll probably turn it around within a day. It's like not even a problem. But that one is a pretty interesting thing, especially if you're having skin problems. Adding vitamin C could be a big issue, big takeaway from that. Okay, so with that said, I always end this with one beautiful chiropractic research article. I'm going to go to the January one. I like this one. This one is research published in January 2025. This is chiropractic stuff. Okay, ready? This is opioid reduction and safety. Research published in January 2025 shows that chiropractic care is linked to fewer opioid-related adverse events, offering a non-pharmacological way alternative for pain relief. In February, a study indicates chiropractic is definitely maybe a safer option for neck pain in older adults compared to traditional medical treatments. And so what we're trying to get across to the healthcare community currently is that a lot of times with chiropractic, there's something to be said about self-care over time, which to me is getting your spine checked, getting adjusted, doing those things on a regular basis. A lot of times people put it in the pathway of, like you get your back gets hurt, you come in and then you don't do it again. It's really important to understand that chiropractic can be this amazing, I have people come once a week, regardless if their insurance does whatever, right? They come in because they know to get their spine checked on a regular basis. One of the coolest things that it does in chiropractic, though, and it's a big one, chronic pain is a big thing that chiropractic can help with. The problem is our medical doesn't understand that. They think we're still one of these, like you hurt your back, you come in for 6 visits, and then you go. So they're doing the sick care model. One day, I think they're going to understand a recognition of what they call the chronic stuff. So I want, like, some people have chronic health problems, right? In the chronic pain category for medical people, I wish they would wake up, especially insurance. They're paying for $1,600 to $2,000 shots a month that don't really do anything for the actual cause of whatever is ailing this person. And they'll do it month after month after month after month. Opioids was the old way to do it. And now we have pain injections. So now it's just costing more because opioids used to be, way cheaper. But now we're just pain injecting people. Maybe they don't get addicted to it. That's great. But are we actually improving their condition? And so my dream is that, the healthcare system finally wakes up and goes, man, maybe regular chiropractic care isn't such a bad idea. Maybe it keeps you out of doing these opioids. It's been proven. This isn't the first study on opioids. This thing, we've done 1,000 studies, and every time it proves the same thing. You don't have to take the pain meds as much if you do chiropractic care. I promise you. And it's going to cost you way less and way less in side effects too. So with that said, I want to say good night to everybody. Hopefully you guys enjoyed tonight. I learned a little bit of stuff. You guys hopefully learned a little bit of stuff. And don't forget, Sunday night is 1% Tribe, where we go over one thing that we could change for the next week. And I'm pretty excited. I think this week is we're on positive affirmation. So it's a good one. I'm thinking. So we'll be able to do that. So we do on 1% Tribe, we do thoughts, toxins, trauma. So each week I try to do a different one. Last week, if you haven't seen it, it was frozen shoulder, which it might be worth you to go back to. So with that said, you guys have a great night. I have, have a good rest of your week, and hopefully try something that we talked about. Maybe some vitamin D. Might definitely get the vitamin D in, but maybe some vitamin C. Maybe grab the vitamin D, the C, the zinc, the quercetin that we talked about for flus. May get your vitamin D level checked. Like what other ones did we talk about? We had a bunch. Get a weighted vest. See how that goes. Let me know how that goes, and we will talk to you guys on the next one. Have a good night.